and now it's become like our thing where we both just look at each other, we make eye contact, and then we both go like that. And I love it so much. It is maybe one of my very favorite things that she does. I'm outside sitting in the car making a car video because all 5 kids are going home and they're going to be home for the foreseeable future. But Paul is also home, so I'm not going anywhere. I mean, Paul's car is actually parked behind me right now, but the house is really loud and it's going to be loud on every level. If I'm upstairs, there's basically no place to make a video. If I'm downstairs, you're going to hear it crashing up above me because anytime anyone walks around upstairs, it's really, really loud downstairs. All of our kids basically talk at a yell, so I didn't really want that because that basically is me reminding everyone that I'm making a video every 2 seconds, and that's never really fun for anyone. Here I am in the car, not planning on going anywhere, just enjoying the silence of this beautiful cold day in which we are not going anywhere, which is nice. Paul actually just left and went to the store. This is the second day of not leaving the house for all of us except for Paul. Paul is leaving the house and going to work, but yeah, I'm just hoping he doesn't get sick since he's the one person that's going in and out of the house. But honestly, he won't be staying home with us unless all of the courts close. That's kind of where we are right now. I guess this is going to be a general update life sort of video on what's going on since I haven't made one of those in a while. As you know, if you watched the other video, we are waiting for James to have an appointment on the 31st, and I'm hoping that's not going to be canceled because of all the stuff that's going on. I'm kind of waiting to see if his is going to get kicked back. I guess we'll have to wait and see about that. I'm really enjoying having all the kids home. I've already kind of been impatiently waiting for summer, and so this is a nice little break. The reason's not a great reason, but I like having my family home. I'm at least happy about that aspect of this whole thing. At least there's that. I know that I'm really lucky to be home so that I don't have to worry about the work side of it. Tessie is like a force of nature lately. She is so funny. One of my favorite things about Tessie that Tessie does right now, Tessie knows that she gets people's attention by looking at them. She still doesn't have a lot of words, but she knows that people think she's cute, and that when she looks at them and she smiles and makes eye contact with them, that people make a fuss over her. And so she does this thing now where she looks at me and I look at her and we make eye contact, and then we both smile and close our eyes and go, and it's something that she started doing, and then I started doing it back to her because she would do it, and now it's become like our thing where we both just look at each other, we make eye contact, and then we both go like that. And I love it so much. It is maybe one of my very favorite things that she does. Another thing that Tessie did at school, I guess, was she used her PEX board to ask if she could take a nap at school. So she said, I want cot. And so they got her cot for her so she could lay down because she had told them she was tired, and she laid down. And what had really happened was that she had actually seen a fruit snack fall down on a table next to where she takes her nap. She waited until everyone went away from where she was taking her nap because she was resting, and then she kept her foot on her cot and she crawled under the table next to where she's supposed to take her nap, and she was eating the fruit snack under the table with one foot still on her cot. And that is so Tessie. She'll see something that she wants and then she'll plot out a way to get it, and then she'll sneak. And that pretty much sums up Tessie at 3.5 years old. She's a lot like Maggie. She just is. The other kids laughed so hard when they heard that story. It's like we're all so proud of her sneakiness. If she's upset with me now, she says no, 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 no. Sometimes it sounds like do, 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 do. We had a meltdown the other day of a certain big sister that was the biggest meltdown since this summer when I made that video. The only reason I'm going to talk about it was because it was pretty spectacularly wonderful why it happened. At the time, I didn't get it, and it was over Tessie's PEX book, and I thought that she was trying to steal it because she really loves PEX books. She can't have her own because she stims on them so much that she destroys them right away. And it's the reason that Tessie doesn't have one at home, is because she destroys them. She destroys them. She loves them so much that she goes after them and just destroys them right away. And we found that we couldn't have one at home because of how much she loves them. If she sees one, she just goes after it right away. And so we've been trying for a long time to figure out a way for Tessie to have one that she doesn't just go after right away, and getting her to understand. So the other day we were in the car and it was just the three of us, and I started talking to her and I handed the book to Tessie and I was like, these are Tessie's words, and Tessie doesn't have her own words to talk with yet, so this is how Tessie uses her words. And without these, Tessie doesn't have words. And so if you could not touch these, then Tessie could have her words at home, and that would be really wonderful. Because I'm not worried about her hurting her baby sister. She loves her baby sister so much to get the words. But I am worried about, we bring the book home and she just destroys it the first day, which is what's happened to every single PECS book that comes into our house ever. So that's really the big problem. And so we had that conversation that day. And the next day we go and Tessie's in the car, and I'm getting Maggie out to take her to the front door of her school right there with Tessie sitting there, and this meltdown occurs. It was really upsetting, but the bigger thing was I didn't understand why it happened. She wanted Tessie's book, and at the time she kept saying Tessie's book, Tessie's book, Tessie's book. I kept saying, you can't have Tessie's book. We talked about this. I just didn't get it. She was trying to get to Tessie's book, and I thought she was trying to get to Tessie's book to destroy it because she wanted to rip up the pictures like I've seen her do so many times in the past. And I thought I was stopping her from ripping up the pictures. The next day, everything's calmer. She was still obviously upset with me that night, and I just still wasn't getting it. See, even when two people are both autistic, sometimes one still just doesn't get it, and that's what was happening here. So that night we went home and everything was fine, and the next morning we got in the car and everything was fine, and we drove to school, everything was fine, and we got there and she was like, Tessie's book. And here I'm thinking, like, this situation's gonna escalate out of control again, and I just don't get it. She looks at me and she goes, Tessie's. And it clicked in my brain. I was like, Tessie's book. And she's like, and she put her hands down at her sides and goes, Tessie's book. And all I could think of, like, was in my head was me explaining to her, this is Tessie's book. Without Tessie's book, Tessie doesn't have words. And she had seen that I was keeping Tessie's book in the front because she was there, because I didn't want her to rip it out of Tessie's hands and destroy it. And Tessie can't have her book if Maggie's there. And so she was telling me that Tessie's book, Tessie didn't have her book, Tessie didn't have her words. And so we gave the book back to Tessie, and Maggie sat there with her hands down at her sides and didn't touch it and was perfectly happy. And she's like, Tessie's book. Tessie doesn't use the book at home because she hasn't had it at home because of Maggie. So she uses it at school, but not at home. And so now she's had total access to it at home. Maggie did one thing. Maggie took all of the PECS things, all of the PECS tiles, all the little PECS. Maggie took all of the PECS pictures and she put them all carefully lined up on the front page, which is a lot of pictures. I mean, there's a lot of pictures, but she hasn't touched it other than that. She's just left it all lined up perfectly. And she sat and stared at it like the first day, just staring at the pictures. Maggie, not Tessie. But other than that, nothing. So her concern was for Tessie not having her words. Like, she was advocating for her sister and telling me that Tessie didn't have her words. Completely the opposite of what I thought. I thought she was going to destroy it. And the whole time she was worried about her sister. And she completely understood what I said when I was telling her that Tessie needed her words, and that's why I didn't want her to hurt it, which is really pretty amazing. I explained it to her, hoping she would understand, but I really didn't expect her understanding. I mean, I thought there was a good chance she'd understand, but I didn't expect her understanding to overcome her love of pictures, because she loves pictures, all pictures, but especially little pictures like that she can hold in her hand. As you've seen, if you watch our channel, you know that Maggie loves holding pictures in her hand. And that is kind of the update there. She's definitely making some big, I mean, that was definitely a huge moment for her. I can't imagine that even a year ago, but she adores Tessie and she is very protective of her baby sister. Tessie is her person. So that's what's been going on with Maggie. She and Tessie are really amazing together. Meanwhile, Sadie is practicing her flute for hours a day, and I think now she's had it for like 5 days. She has started more consistently making sounds on it. She won't start in band till next year, but she's watching YouTube videos on how to play. We got her a, Gemmenhart? I don't know exactly how to say it. 2SP off of eBay, and she is determined to learn how to play it at least somewhat before she starts band next year. I mean, she'll be in like beginner band hopefully next year. So that is really what's going on with Sadie. She is so determined. And Patrick and James are just thrilled to have 3 weeks off of school. They were definitely the most excited. They are living, breathing, playing, well, like imaginary playing, like pretending they're Pokemon, like they get their little Pokemon toys out and then they pretend they're Pokemon and they pretend they're battling. For me, it's weird. Since being diagnosed, I feel like in a lot of ways, my creativity has kind of been unleashed. And I think in some ways, almost the ADHD diagnosis was more helpful to me in terms of creativity, because it was recognizing that how much having that hyper-focus and things that interest me has helped me over my life, and just being able to kind of let myself be hyper-focused and going with it when it happens, I guess. I don't know. I think in the past, I would get distracted more and more. And now that I realize that I have ADHD, and I've been told that I have ADHD, and I've realized how easily it is for me to hyper-focus on certain things, which writing is one of them. It's something that I can control in a way because it's something that I've always been able to do. So now, for the first time since I was like a young teenager, I'm back to writing between 2,000 and 4,000 words a day. It's something that has become a lot easier and is really fun for me again. That is really weird, because it was something that when I was younger just all of a sudden switched off and kind of was a decade and a half of writer's block. And all of a sudden, since getting my diagnosis, it's like it's back. I can sit down and write 2,000 or 4,000 words, and it's been such a long time since that has happened. I don't know why having this diagnosis made it easier for my mind to just kind of switch back on into that mode. Obviously, it's a purely like psychological thing, but when I was younger, it was always really easy for me to sit and write for long periods of time and sort of get lost in that other world. It became so much easier to get back into that mode that was much easier for me when I was younger, from the time that I was really young and started writing up until I was a teenager, and it all of a sudden became a lot harder for me. So that is kind of the update for me. I know it's kind of got to be like a psychological block that kind of some reason isn't there right now, which is good. I'm really enjoying being able to write. That's what's going on with me. Pokemon. Yeah, that's pretty much what they play all the time. So that is pretty much the update here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. Sadie is also lobbying me to change the name of the vlog. She thinks Someday I Sleep Autism Vlogs is way too boring, and she wants to change it to something like Autastic. That was her vote. I told her if James is diagnosed, we'll think about it. So that's pretty much the deal that we have at the moment. And that is pretty much it right now. That's it for today. If you like this video, we'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in all things autism, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.